Now, did you know there's almost a free way of acquiring that Ecuadorian citizenship? And even better, you can actually get this citizenship by living just one day in your final year in Ecuador. Bet you didn't know this. Do you know why? Because you aren't subscribed to this channel probably yet. So go ahead and smash that bell icon, subscribe to this channel to stay on top of all the citizenship and residency hacks, legal hacks. But a lot of people are going to think at this point, why on earth do you need an Ecuadorian citizenship or an Ecuadorian passport, especially Western passport holders from US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and the list goes on. I'm going to tell you exactly why you need an Ecuadorian citizenship, not for the wrong reasons. Getting back to the point. The Ecuadorian passport has some controversial yet exotic access to countries like China, Russia, Belarus, Turkey, and the list goes on. Now, the obvious question is, why do you even need access to these? That's not the point. The point is, do you have the access on your Western passport? So how are you going to get the legal, financial, tax, and ideological diversity? Now, they even introduced a third sex in the US Senate, not the usual gender BS. This is a full-blown third sex that they have introduced in the US Senate. Now, if you are curious, you can return to this video and take a look at this link. This talks about what's brewing in the pipeline. And just a fun fact, Russia, on the other side, has introduced a free citizenship, so they're distributing free passports to foreigners. Now, in case you're curious about that one, you can always return and take a look at this video. Putin is offering free citizenships to foreigners just like yourself. Now, you probably don't need this, and I've discussed the reasons in that video. Go check it out. But later. Let's get into the meat of this, shall we? There are 3 steps of getting that all-important Ecuadorian passport. The first step is getting a temporary residency. Second step is converting the temporary residency into a permanent residency. The fun fact is, to maintain the temporary residency, it's flexible. There's no minimum residency required. The third step is converting the permanent residency into that passport, into that citizenship. Towards the end, I'm also going to discuss how, by living just one day in your final year, you can still qualify to get that all-important Ecuadorian citizenship. So stay tuned. The first way is through investment. Here you're talking about 42.5K USD. You park this capital in your own bank account. It could be an FD. It could be a CD with a credit union in the country. They pay you interest, so you're not keeping your money there for free. You're getting paid in return. The interests can go as high as 7 to 8%. You're keeping all the monies in USD because that's the official currency of Ecuador. So you keep this money and you qualify for the first step, which is your temporary residency. The biggest positive or the fun fact about the temporary residency is that you don't need any specific minimum residency to maintain the temporary residency. So you can use this as a paper or a back pocket residency. Now, when I say paper or back pocket, it's nothing illegal. It means a flexible residency. You can live as much as you want, as long as you're being consistent with the immigration authorities. The second way of obtaining this same temporary residency is through property investment. You deposit or you purchase a property of the same value. It has to be 42.5K USD, and the valuation of this matters. So when you're getting the valuation report, as long as it matches up with that requirement of 42.5K USD, you can still get the same temporary residency. Now, the third and the most exciting way of getting this temporary residency is for almost free, and this is the trick. You need to have a college degree. So as long as you have a professional college degree, you can obtain the same temporary residency for free. If you're wondering how do you get started, you can always click that link in the description. Book a call with us. We can get you started with our legal expert. We have a very solid attorney in Ecuador who does this day in and day out. So she got you covered, all right? Now, the all-important part of this video for which you have been waiting. What's the deal with the 1 day of residency in the final year? Well, to get the Ecuadorian citizenship, you have to live in Ecuador on the permanent residency for 3 years. For the first 2 years, you got to live there 6 months plus, but in the final year, year. In your third year, the residency drastically drops. This is the new update that Ecuador has made. They've made two very solid updates to their laws. One is the temporary residency is now flexible, so it works just like Mexico. Now, in case you want to do this with Mexico, if you're interested in optimizing, multiplying your options, then you can check this video on Mexico. This talks about the Mexican process in a lot of detail. The Mexican passport is one of the most useful passports that you can have in your armory. But getting back to the Ecuadorian one, the temporary residency here is also very, very flexible. And that final year residency requirement of just 1 day makes it the icing on the cake. And before you go, if you found this useful, make sure you're subscribed, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.